fellow carbon-based bipeds. I am Scott Rose, and you are watching Explosions and Stuff. Today, for Top 10 of the 10th, I'll be covering my top 10 movies of 2017. But first, a word from our sponsors. The rules of this top 10 list, well, they're really simple, and that there's only one. There's only one rule this time, and that's that this is about movies that I reviewed in 2017, not necessarily movies that were made in 2017. Coming in at number 10, we have Hood. Now, I'll be honest, this movie surprised me when I watched it. I honestly went in expecting this to be a pretty bad movie. I mean, it was a modernization of the Robin Hood mythos. And usually I find modernizations of old stories to be bad. But this movie was so much good. It was so fantastic. I mean, yes, it was clearly held back by its budget. You could tell that the vision for this movie was so much grander and so bigger. And so it was just so much more than it actually turned out to be. And it was held back by its budget. You can tell. It's obvious. But even with that, it's still a fantastic movie. It's amazingly done, and it just might very well be my favorite Robin Hood story of all time. It was absolutely fantastic, and I loved it. And that's why Hood comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have Damage. This is a fun, exciting, gritty, hard-hitting movie. It's like a remake of Lionheart, except different and honestly a little bit better. It's got Steve Austin in it, and the fight scenes are fantastic. They're gritty, they're hard-hitting. You believe these people are getting hurt and injured. It is so much fun to watch this movie. The characters are fantastic. They're believable. The story is good. I mean, it gets you right here. It gets you right in the heart. This movie has feeling to it. It has emotion. It's not just a straight up dumbed down beat 'em up where people fight all the time. It's got an actual story with a theme and things that matter, and there's emotion and heartfelt things. It's just so much fun. It's gritty, it's hard hitting, the characters have depth. It is a fantastic movie, and that's why Damage comes in at number 9. Coming in at number 8, we have Countdown. It's got Dolph Ziggler and Kane. It's a WWE production, and it's about where Dolph Ziggler is a cop. He's trying to rescue this kidnapped child, and it's on the anniversary of his kid's death. It's a fantastic movie, and I'll be honest, going in, I was a little worried because they heavily featured the WWE in the trailer, and it's a WWE production. It's a WWE Studios film, and I was worried that it would rely heavily on just having wrestling and the WWE in the movie, when in reality, that was just one scene. It hardly had anything to do with professional wrestling, which I think was a fantastic thing to do. I would have preferred it if it had even less to do with professional wrestling. It was a fantastic movie. I mean, the characters had depth. It was well acted. It had a compelling story. I mean, this movie was fantastic, and it surprised the living hell out of me. I expected it to be just a mindless cash grab, but it was so much fun to watch. It was so entertaining, and that's why Countdown comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7, we have Future Sport. I love this movie. It's got Dean Cain, it's got Wesley Snipes, and some other people whose names I don't know. Let's be honest, Dean Cain and Wesley Snipes are the biggest names in this movie. But it's a fantastic movie. Now, the reason it's so low on this list is because really if it wasn't for the sport of future sport, if it wasn't for that game of future sport, I wouldn't enjoy this movie nearly as much as I do. Like, that is the best part about this movie, is that game. I could care less about the story. I don't really care about, like, most of the characters. Although Dean Cain is one of those actors where no matter how the movie is or what I think of a movie, I love his performance. I'm always entertained by Dean Cain, no matter how good or bad the rest of the movie is. And that is just fantastic. I love Dean Cain's work. But this is one of those movies where every time I watch it, I want to get some buddies together and then go play future sport. Like, I want to play this game and I want to make this game big because it looks so much fun and it's such an exciting and entertaining game. And really, that's the reason I watched the movie, for the game of future sport. And that's why future sport comes in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, we have Killing American Style. This is easily the most gloriously bad movie I've ever seen in my life. This is easily one of the best so bad it's good movies I've ever seen. It's just fantastic. I mean, this is horrendously bad and just hilariously awful. I mean, this is just fantastic. First of all, you've got Harold Diamond in the lead, who realistically can't act his way out of a paper bag. He's only had 3 acting titles at most, maybe 2, but somewhere in the single digits. He hasn't worked in more than 10 movies. I mean, he's just awful. It's fantastic. This guy nothing about this movie is good. I mean, it's an objectively bad movie, but it's so entertaining because it's so bad. And that is why Killing American Style comes in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, we have Drive. Now let's get this right out of the way to begin with. The reason you're going to watch this movie is for the fight scenes. They're fantastic fight scenes. The story doesn't really matter. It's just there to to go from fight scene to fight scene. It's just a placeholder between fight scenes. You don't really need the story in this movie. The story makes sense. It's a fantastic story, but you don't need it. It's just there to take up space between the fight scenes. It's fantastic. The fight scenes are glorious. The characters, they're believable, they're fantastic, but most of them are not essential. Really, this movie could have been made with a fraction of the characters and just more cannon fodder. More people for Mark Dacascos to just beat the living snot out of. And it was just fantastic. This is the kind of movie you want to put Mark Dacascos in. Not one where he has to act, not one where he has to show emotion, just one where he beats the living crap out of everyone he sees, or just about everyone he sees. That's what sells this movie. That's what makes this movie fantastic, is the fight scenes. And that's why anyone's going to watch this movie, is for the amazing, hard-hitting, gritty fight scenes. And that's why Drive comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have Hunt to Kill, a fantastically hard-hitting and gritty movie starring Steve Austin, where his daughter's kidnapped by a bunch of bank robbers and stuff and taken out into the woods, and he has to go out and find her, and he just happens to be a park ranger of some sort. It's a fantastic movie. I mean, I know I'm saying that about every one of these, but this is a top 10 list. They're all fantastic. This is a fantastic movie. It's gritty, it's hard-hitting. The fight scenes are believable and realistic looking. They use the environment really well. It feels like they're in the middle of nowhere, but still tightly contained, which I don't know how they pulled that off, but it was just fantastic. It's almost like they could go anywhere, but they're still stuck in this one spot. It was fantastic and glorious and amazing. I mean, not only that, but Gary Daniels plays one of the henchmen in this movie, and the fight scene between Steve Austin and Gary Daniels is just brutal and fantastic and amazing. Those two just go ham on each other. It's fantastic. It's one of the best fight scenes I've seen in a long time. As far as just non kung fu fight scenes, non martial arts fight scenes. Like these guys are just sitting there, just pounding each other. Just I'm gonna punch you in the head 3 times, and you punch me in the face, and a few kidney shots here and there. Just outright brawling, and it is fantastic. I mean, this movie is just glorious, and that's why Hunt to Kill comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have Gridlocked. This is a movie starring Dominic Purcell and Trish Stratus and some other people whose names I can't remember because I'm doing all these casts by memory, but I can't remember anyone else's names because most of them I've never seen before, but I digress. This is a fantastic, glorious, hard-hitting movie. I mean, the action scenes, the fight scenes in this movie, let me put it to you this way. At one point, someone gets stabbed in the face and then continues to fight. And I don't mean like a little poke. I'm talking like a 4-inch blade, like a boot knife, to the face, to the freaking hilt. The entire blade goes into their face. And then they continue to fight after the blade has been removed from their face. It's fantastic. It's hard hitting. It's gritty. The characters are believable. The chemistry is there. It's just fantastic. It's entertaining to watch. This is a glorious movie. Easily one of the best movies I've seen in a very long time, and that's why Gridlock comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, we have Contour. Now, I'm going to say right now, I've watched this movie 3 times, and I have no idea really what it's about, and I don't care, because no one's going to watch this movie for the story. You watch this movie for the fight scenes, and those fight scenes are just glorious. They're clearly the only reason to watch this movie. They're absolutely freaking fantastic. Contour is an amazing movie for the fight scenes. I mean, the people who made this movie, everyone involved in the making of this movie, is a stunt performer. All the actors are stunt performers and they do all their own stunts. And that's one thing I love to see in movies. When an actor is doing their own stunts in the fight scenes, it instantly makes these fight scenes more believable. It's not some skinny dude in a dress being a stunt double for a woman and doing these fight scenes with a wig. It's this woman is sitting there just going ham and kicking people in the face and stuff. It's just fantastic and it's glorious. And even though I'm not sure what this movie's about, really, I still love it. It's still a fantastic movie and I'll still watch it over and over and over again because these fight scenes are just that amazing. And that's why Contour comes in at number 2. And the number 1 movie that I covered in 2017, Blood and Bone. I mean, this is a fantastically glorious and just amazing movie starring Michael Jai White, and he's just kicking ass and taking names. He's just got out of prison. He's, keeping a promise he made to a cellmate, and it's just fantastic and glorious. The fight scenes are gritty and hard-hitting and believable and realistic, and it's just so much fun to watch. It's just amazing. The fight scenes are fantastic. The chemistry between the characters is glorious, and they're well-developed characters. No one really feels one-dimensional. They're all really well fleshed out. It's just a fantastic, glorious, and entertaining movie with gritty action scenes, amazing fight choreography, spectacular cinematography, and good acting. I mean, the acting may be the weakest part of the movie, but it's not really that much of an issue. It's not that weak. It just goes to show how good everything else in the movie is if the good acting is the weakest part. It's not like anyone was a bad actor. It was just, everything else was so good. This one just lacked a little bit. It's like the difference between a hamburger and a cheeseburger. Cheeseburger's better, but not by much, just by that little bit of cheese. And essentially, it's the same thing, but just there had to be a weak point because everything was so good. And that's why Blood and Bone comes in at number 1. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like it and subscribe to my channel for new action movie reviews posted every week and top 10 lists posted on the 10th of every month. If you have any recommendations for things you would like me to cover in the future, please leave them in the comments below and follow us on Twitter at explosions_TV. Thank you and have a nice day.